Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive into the crypto world. It's been a wild ride lately, huh? Feels like that roller coaster just took a sudden dip. That's crypto for you. Always keeping us on our toes.
Definitely keeps things interesting, that's for sure.
So let's jump right in. Bitcoin's taken a bit of a tumble, down to $65,000. And the overall crypto market cap, yeah, that's shrunk by about 2%.
It's definitely been a bit of a rough patch for crypto. But you know what's interesting? This dip seems to be happening alongside some struggles in the tech stock market. Like Tesla's earnings report is coming up, and analysts are predicting a drop in their earnings per share.
Tesla and crypto. Kind of a strange pairing, don't you think?
Well, you've got Elon Musk in the picture, right? He's been a big supporter of crypto. And Tesla, they're seen as the symbol of innovation, taking risks. So their performance, it kind of ripples out and affects the mood in both the stock market and the crypto market. Plus, you've got the 10-year U.S. Treasury yield going up to 4.23%. That's a level we haven't seen since July. What that means is that safer investments are starting to look more appealing, which can impact equity valuations and, you guessed it, crypto too.
So it's like when the traditional markets get a little shaky, crypto feels the tremors too.
Precisely. It's all interconnected in a way.
And looking at the numbers, it's not just Bitcoin feeling the heat. Ether, Cardano, Avalanche, even Shiba Inu, they're all down.
Yeah, it seems like the whole crypto landscape is reacting to these bigger economic trends and those specific events we talked about, like Tesla's report.
Okay, so we've talked about the market taking a bit of a dip, but let's switch gears for a second and talk about Binance. They've been having some legal issues in Nigeria, right? Something about money laundering charges.
That's right. There have been some developments there, actually. The charges against Tigran Gambaryan, he was a key executive at Binance. Well, those charges have been dropped by the Nigerian Economic and Financial Crimes Commission.
Whoa, hold on, seriously, what happened?
Well, that's where things get a little murky. Some reports say the charges were dropped because of Gambaryan's health, but other reports are suggesting it was more of a strategic move by the prosecution.
So it's still kind of a mystery then.
Yeah, a bit of a mystery. And to make things even more complicated, the case against Binance itself is still going on.
So it's not over yet.
Not by a long shot.
Yeah.
This is definitely a story to keep an eye on.
Okay, so Binance is still in hot water. But speaking of controversies, we can't ignore the European Central Bank and their, shall we say, interesting take on Bitcoin.
Oh yeah, that paper they put out, they didn't hold back, did they? Pretty much calling it a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine that didn't sit too well with the crypto community.
It definitely ruffled some feathers. So their main criticisms, they pointed to Bitcoin's volatility, the fact that it doesn't really have a productive contribution to the economy, in their view. And of course, they brought up the wealth concentration among those early adopters.
So they see those as like fundamental flaws that make Bitcoin, well, not so legitimate.
Exactly. That's their stance.
So what do the Bitcoin supporters have to say about all this?
Well, a group of crypto academics, they fired back with a rebuttal, defending Bitcoin and saying the ECB's stance is, a bit biased. They argue that the ECB is basically just trying to push their own central bank digital currencies.
CBDCs.
Yeah, central bank digital currencies. Basically, they're digital versions of a country's regular currency, issued and regulated by their central bank.
Oh, okay, so it's like their own digital version of the dollar, euro, yen, whatever.
Exactly. And they see these CBDCs as a competitor to cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin.
I see. So it's kind of like this digital turf war brewing between traditional finance and the crypto world.
You could say that you've got these traditional institutions. They're naturally a bit wary of these decentralized systems they can't really control. And then you have the Bitcoin supporters who see it as this revolutionary tech that gives power back to the people.
Definitely a clash of ideologies there. Speaking of clashes, let's talk about the whole mystery surrounding Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin. Still no one knows who they are, right?
It's still one of the biggest mysteries in the tech world.
And there was that HBO documentary recently claiming they'd found Satoshi, that it was Peter Todd, a computer scientist from Canada. Turned out to be false, though.
Yeah, it caused quite a stir. And it raises some important ethical questions, like what are the implications of outing someone as Satoshi? Especially with all the wealth tied to that name, it could put someone at risk. Satoshi clearly wanted to remain anonymous, and we should respect that.
I agree, it's their choice. But the director of that documentary, they defended their decision, saying that revealing Satoshi's identity is crucial. Because, they have so much influence over what they call the world's digital gold.
It's a controversial stance, that's for sure. It kind of highlights that tension between privacy and transparency. in this digital age. On one hand, you have the curiosity, the desire to know who's behind this groundbreaking technology. But on the other hand, you have the right to privacy, especially for someone who's deliberately chosen to remain anonymous.
It's a tough one for sure. It's like a real-life detective novel, but with some serious philosophical questions mixed in. What do you think about all this? Is it ethical to try and reveal Satoshi's identity? And if we did know who they were, would it change how we view Bitcoin? Lots to think about.
Yeah, some really interesting questions to ponder. It's a tricky thing, this whole unmasking Satoshi debate. I mean, on the one hand, you could say their anonymity is kind of a cornerstone of that whole decentralized idea behind Bitcoin. But then again, you've got all this influence tied to that anonymous figure, and that raises questions about transparency and accountability. It's a tough one. No easy answers there.
It really makes you think, like, what would happen if Satoshi's identity was suddenly revealed? Would it totally shake up the Bitcoin world?
It's definitely an interesting thought experiment. Some people argue that it would kind of undermine that whole decentralized thing. Like people might start seeing Bitcoin as the creation of one person instead of this collective effort. But then others say the code is what matters, regardless of who wrote it. Honestly, it's impossible to know for sure what the impact would be.
It's a mystery that might just stay a mystery forever.
Yeah.
Which only adds to the whole intrigue, I guess.
Yeah.
But let's get back to the market for a sec. Things are still looking a bit shaky out there. Bitcoin's still struggling to break out of that slump.
Yeah, it seems the bears are in control right now. And that connection to the stock market, especially the tech sector, it's definitely weighing on things.
With those rising interest rates and all the talk about a possible recession, it makes sense that investors are looking for safer places to put their money.
It's that classic flight to safety. We see it all the time in financial history. When things get uncertain, those traditional safe havens like bonds and gold, they start looking pretty good.
Makes sense.
But even with all this market turmoil going on, there's still so much innovation happening in the crypto world.
That's what I love about this space. It never stands still. Always new projects popping up, new ways to use the tech, new communities forming.
It's true. The technology behind it all, the blockchain and all the ways it can be used, it's all evolving so rapidly. We're basically witnessing the birth of a whole new digital ecosystem, constantly changing and adapting.
It's that constant evolution, the feeling that anything's is possible, that makes crypto so captivating. It really feels like we're on the verge of something huge.
It is a powerful reminder. Market cycles come and go. But those core ideas behind crypto, the innovation, that spirit of decentralization, those are here to stay.
And that brings us back to ECB and their critique of Bitcoin. What do you make of their concerns? The volatility, the lack of what they call a productive contribution, the wealth concentration, are they valid points or are they missing the bigger picture?
Well, you have to consider their perspective, right? They come from that traditional finance world. They're used to control, stability. So naturally, they're a bit wary of these decentralized systems that they can't really regulate.
But couldn't you argue that those very things are what make Bitcoin so appealing to so many people? I mean, it's a system designed to be free from that centralized control. And the volatility, well, that's just part of being a relatively new asset class. As for that productive contribution argument, I think the fact that Bitcoin has sparked so much innovation, created a whole new industry, that speaks for itself.
You've got some good points there. Bitcoin definitely challenges the way we traditionally think about value, currency, financial control. Whether that's good or bad, well, that depends on your perspective.
It's definitely shaken things up, that's for sure. So, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, what's the one thing you'd like our listeners to take away from all of this?
I'd say the most important thing is to stay informed, stay curious, stay engaged. The crypto world is constantly evolving, and it's crucial to stay up to date on what's happening, the good and the bad.
Well said. And remember, this is just a snapshot of the crypto world right now. Who knows what tomorrow will bring? Maybe Bitcoin will skyrocket. Maybe new regulations will change the game completely. Maybe Satoshi will step out of the shadows.
One thing's for certain, though. This crypto journey is far from over, and the ride's likely to be just as exciting and unpredictable as ever.
It definitely keeps things interesting, to say the least. Well, folks, we've covered a lot of ground today. We explored those market trends, those legal battles, even those ethical dilemmas and investment strategies. We hope this deep dive has given you some food for thought as you navigate this ever-changing world of crypto. Just remember, this is only the beginning, the future of crypto. It's full of possibilities, so stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay engaged. Until next time, happy investing.